We got a lot to get to today, so let's get to it. A pair of teams went from conference leaders to the 25th and 30th ranked records during their recent brutal slumps. What that means to the chaos that they've now created in the Stanley Cup playoff matchups. A communication breakdown in Montreal that led to a very awkward moment for the officials. And Jeff Skinner hits a milestone he'll never forget for both the great and incredibly disappointing run that represents. First up, to a couple of really rough slumps. A month ago, the Vancouver Canucks had the best record in the entire Western Conference. Then Thatcher Demko went down. How much have they missed him? Well, last night, for instance, they gave up 4 goals on the first 8 shots of the game to Vegas. They never recovered. They've now lost 3 of their last 4. 4-4-1 without him. That's the 25th ranked record since he was sidelined. The Vancouver Canucks are now just 5 points up on the Edmonton Oilers in the Pacific, but Edmonton's got 2 games in hand in the battle to avoid facing Vegas in the opening round. That's critical. The good news for Vancouver, Demko skated on his own on Tuesday, and he is getting closer to a return. Speaking of former conference leaders who have just crashed, after losing to the Habs last night, the Florida Panthers now just 1 regulation win in their last 10 games. Not only did Florida lead the conference on this day exactly 3 weeks ago, they were battling for first overall in the President's Trophy. Now they could drop to third in the division and actually lose home ice in the opening round of the playoffs. They had an 8-point lead over the Bruins for tops in the division. The Panthers now trail Boston by 4. That's a 12-point swing in just 3 weeks. Florida is 30th in points since the slide began. Only the lowly Ducks and Sharks have been worse over that stretch. Suddenly facing them in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs does not seem like such a daunting task. At this point, it looks like the Leafs will get the Panthers in the opening round, and Toronto could even end up with home ice advantage. The Leafs are just 4 points behind Florida, but they've got 2 games in hand, and they still have another head-to-head matchup with the Panthers in Florida in the second-to-last game of the regular season. Man, how quickly things can change. And the Panthers were part of a very strange moment in Montreal last night. Something we've never, ever seen before. There was a huge pileup in front of the Florida net. Brendan Gallagher, as he always does, was right there jamming away at the puck. He thinks it's in. The officials go to the war room in Toronto to make sure they get the call right. And then,
after further review, the puck did cross the goal line completely.
There you go. There we go.
So, nice celebration on the Habs bench. But wait, before they can drop the puck, the war room from Toronto calls back. They chat. The ref is back at center ice, making a new call.
It was a mistake in the communication. The puck never crossed the goal line.
Oh, jeez.
No goal.
Wow, okay.
Hey, Siri, play Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin.
Wow. All right.
You gotta be kidding me.
Not going to make a lot of friends at the Bell Center after that.
Man, that's great.
Well, that was awkward. In the end, the Habs beat the Panthers anyway. But as I say, everyone is beating the Panthers lately. And it was a huge day for Jeff Skinner as he hit the 1,000-game milestone. It started with a special message from Netflix star Emily in Paris's Lily Collins.
Bonjour, Jeff. I heard that you were a big fan, so I wanted to send you a congratulatory video for your 1,000th game in the NHL.
Where's Emily in Paris? It's a good show. Yeah.
Not only did that leave him just a little bit starstruck, the team also gave him a custom-made sea-doo to mark the occasion. And then, of course, Jeff Skinner got the traditional silver stick in the pregame ceremony as he became the 11th youngest player in NHL history to reach that milestone. But the moment was a little bittersweet for him. Jeff Skinner also just became the first player in NHL history to play 1,000 career NHL regular season games and never play a single game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The first rounder from 2010 spent his first 8 NHL seasons with the Canes while they were still struggling and rebuilding, only to move to Buffalo for the last 6 years of their current rebuild. A great milestone, but really unfortunate timing from a career standpoint. No playoffs, but he did get a special message, a sea-doo, a silver stick, and over $77 million in career earnings and counting. So Jeff Skinner's just fine. All right, you've heard from me. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think of Jeff Skinner's milestone? Did you have a good laugh at the league's expense due to that communication breakdown in Montreal? And what do you think of what's going on with both the Canucks and the Florida Panthers right now? Do they both get things back on track before the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs? Looking forward to hearing what you've got to say about all of this.